Hi, and thanks for tuning in. Probably the reason that you're watching this video is I probably gave you a card and when you approached me about why I use these cameras, and I probably couldn't explain it to you. The reason is that when I do this for a living and I own a gallery, and sometimes I don't have time to explain all this, why I would use a camera like this. And I don't mean to be rude or anything, and I certainly appreciate your interest. But when I'm out photographing with these, I'm limited with time, and I just don't have the time to explain all of it. So I thought I'd do this, and this will probably give you a better idea what's going on with these. Why would somebody use a camera like this? And most people think, why would someone use an antique camera like this? Well, to be honest with you, most of the time I'm using these, they're not antiques. This is a new camera, this is a new camera, this is an antique, this is an antique, this is a newer camera. There are companies that still make them, and there's a reason for that. Why would photographers use this system, especially in the digital age? I mean, I can certainly understand that question. I mean, why would you haul this around and 60 to 80 pounds worth of gear behind it just to get photographs? I mean, just the film cases alone, what they weigh and the bulk and everything. There is a reason. There really is. These cameras do things that digital really can't do sometimes. Let's just start with a few things. Number one is quality. Now, I know I'm going to get nailed from digital photographers on this, and I love digital. I've got lots of digital too, and digital is extremely well nowadays, very good quality. But these take it one step farther. When we talk about these cameras, what we're talking about is large format, and that's the term for the cameras. It's not the term for large pictures. And the reason they're called large formats is because they take large pieces of film. This camera takes a 4x5" piece of film. This camera here takes an 8x10" piece of film. And they make them in different sizes. There's 7x17 and 2x3, and it's not just this, but the larger the negative, the better the quality. And that's one of the reasons you will see photographers using a larger camera like this. These take what's called film holders. The film is put in these in a dark room. This holds 2 shots. And it's put in the back of the camera, and then this is called the dark slide. It's pulled, and then the film is exposed, and then it is taken to a dark room and processed. And yeah, there's a lot of work in that. There really is. I mean, by the time you get this all set up, you know, sometimes 30 minutes, and you take the exposure, then you got to haul it back, I don't know, maybe 500 miles, 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles sometimes to a dark room to process it. You have to handle that all in between there. Why would someone do that in digital? Again, it goes back to quality, but it also goes to a couple other things, all right? These cameras do something that other cameras don't do. Number one, they have what's called movements. And you can move these lenses up and down. You can move them side to side. You can swing them. You can do all kinds of things with these. And there's a reason for that. We're not just doing this to look cool, okay? There's really a reason for it. It would take tons of videos to explain all the movements in this. And so I'm just going to give you a quick little example. You're standing on the ground, you're looking at a building, you take a picture of it, and the photograph comes back and it's converged at the top, and it looks distorted. These cameras with the right lenses can fix that. They can literally correct that in the camera, and when you go to print it, it's already corrected. Now, they can do other things like that too. You can bring foregrounds and backgrounds in and out of focus. There's so much you can do with a system like this that you really can't do with digital. You can do quite a bit in Photoshop, but you really, here, you're done with it. When you're finished shooting it with this, it's a finished image. Now, that goes back to the purist. And it goes back to the purist client, which is my client. The clients that buy from my gallery want that. They want that all the way. Now, let's get into something else that these can do. They can almost do everything that digital can do. I can actually do HDR with these by just scanning. But they can do the traditional things, and they can do the more modern things too. If I wanted to print on, say, regular RC photographic paper, I can do that. It's fine. Done in a traditional darkroom. No digital involved. All silver prints. Metallic, I can do that in a darkroom with these. I can even do color. Yes, that's right. That's one of the big questions is, can these cameras do color? They sure can. You just put color film in them. This is what these cameras are really, really, really wonderful at. This is what's called fiber-based silver gelatin printing. And these cameras were really made for that. This is something that you really don't do with digital. You have to make digital negatives, and they just don't look the same. They just don't. I've messed with it, messed with it, messed with it. There's nothing like a pure silver film image on a pure silver photograph image. It's the real thing. It truly is. What this is a really thick archival paper, ragtop paper, rag stock. And it has a coating of gelatin on it, and then it has a coating of silver on it. We're not dealing with an ink product here. You're dealing with metals almost. Well, this image is very archival. This image will probably last 150 years if processed correctly. Finer, higher-end art galleries, if they take photography, they demand that. They just don't take digital, very seldom, and I have a tough time with that. So, in my gallery too, I sell digital and film, but to be honest with you, most of the stuff I sell is a film product like this. People want that purist. If I want to print on canvas, like this, I can do it with this. I have to maybe convert it to a digital image to work on a canvas printer, but I can also do a canvas transfer, which is using a silver image and transfer it to canvas. I can do it both ways. So the variety is pretty extensive with something like this. Now, here is something that really these cameras shine. This is platinum palladium, and it can be done on different types of paper. Here I've done it on vellum, and there's a reason for that. Or it can be done on a rag paper. This is basically platinum and a metal salt, and palladium mixed together in a light-sensitive solution. And then I take that and I coat the paper, and that's what these lines are. That's the paper. I mean the coating on the paper. And then I put the negative on top of it, and then it's exposed, and then it's processed. This is probably the most permanent archival image in photography there is. And nothing looks like it. There is just nothing like a platinum print. There are galleries in London and Paris, that's all they take. They won't take anything in photographic material unless it is a platinum print because of that. It's a very old process, but it's a very, very permanent process. And the size of the negative determines the size of the print. So to get an 8x10 print, you use an 8x10 camera. To get a 4x5 print, you use a 4x5 camera. And I know there's such things as digital negatives that can be done like this, but this is actually getting into the purest. And the customer that will pay for this type of processing really is going to want that. I've had very few people that don't, and they understand it. This is even taking it a little bit farther. This is actually the same type of process, but here we're gold leaf in the back of it. This not only gives it a beautiful, wonderful look, it's just incredible, but it is extremely permanent. It's almost like it's a metal all the way through now. And it kind of really is, because the image is actually in the metal. It's an actual piece of gold, platinum, palladium metal with an image going through it. And when they're mounted, there's just nothing that looks like it. There just isn't. It's absolutely the most beautiful image there is in photography. That's why you see people sometimes shooting cameras that are even bigger than these. I mean, they make these cameras up to 20 by 24 inches because they want to get a 20 by 24 platinum palladium print. So, like I said, it's not because photographers want to look cool hauling this around and stuff. They really are trying to achieve something here. Again, one of the reasons I wanted to make this short video, which I know doesn't explain very much. I mean, these cameras would be hours and hours and hours of explanation to go through everything that you can do with them. But I wanted to do something for people that actually walk up to me all the time. When I'm out photographing, I get stopped a lot, and usually it's during the sweet hour of the day, the morning or the afternoon, when I'm trying to catch the light, and I'll tell people I can't talk to them right now, I can't explain it to them, and I give them a card and I send them to this video, and that's really what this is all for. And I really appreciate you people doing that, because we really want your interest. We really truly do, and we do want to explain it to you, but sometimes we just can't. So if you ever want to stop by Studio 1093 outside of Houston and make an appointment and come in, we'll be more than happy to explain it to you more. But other than that, thank you very much for your interest, and thanks for joining us in this little adventure. And have a great day.